What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with a video. We're going to talk about Demarcus Cousins. I think this is important because the more I think about Demarcus Cousins, because people ask me about this at work, people don't ask me about this all the time, and I just wanted to share it for the people that don't see me, which is on YouTube and on the internet that can't ask me these questions every day in person. But Demarcus Cousins is a weird guy, a guy that we know can play, a guy that has a lot of skills for his size, ability to get to the rim, shoot the three, shoot free throws at a decent percentage, knock down mid range, his ability to post up and just bully people, his passing ability from the mid and the high post. And one thing that's important about this year is that he showed that he can sacrifice. He played with other great players and still made a good impact on the team. He never was a great defender with or without the Warriors, but he showed that he was willing to sacrifice for the betterment of winning. And I feel like even when he went to New Orleans last year, he still wanted to get his numbers. He still wanted to get his touches. I feel like this situation of him not really getting that many calls and that much interest coming off a terrible career potential in an Achilles tear. And he has never been the same Demarcus Cousins after that. He had a long time off. He looked decent, but he never looked it explosive. He never was finishing the way I thought he should have finished. I feel like he didn't have the explosiveness going back up when he got a rebound. I feel like he drew more fouls because he didn't finish the plays, so he had to do multiple attempts to get the ball in the basket. His shooting, to me, he just don't have the lift. He used to be a decent shooter, not a great or elite shooter, but for his size, he was respectable. You had to respect it unless he was going to continue to take it. And I still feel like he has confidence in that jumper, obviously, because he still does take it. But I feel like he was knocking it down at a clip to where you really had to watch it because he can score on so many levels, from three, from mid-range, from post, from free throw line, from taking it to the basket, that he was a tough cover. And the thing that was unfortunate was him going down with in the Clippers series, because that was his moment to show that he's willing to buy into a team concept. He's willing to do whatever it takes to win. And I feel like he was showing that how unstoppable and how tough it is to beat the Warriors when they have him and Kevin Durant healthy, and they just add so many dimensions to teams. You can't switch as much. If you do, they're going to punish you in the post. They're going to punish you with size. They're going to beat you up on the boards, and they're going to spread the floor out, so it's easier for Steph and Clay to get moving and get angles and be able to do backdoor cuts or get open, because you can't really leave nobody open because everybody is a threat to make a play off the dribble on the ball, but also be able to knock down spot up shots. Even though DeMarcus and Draymond are the greatest shooters, they will take shots. Remember, Draymond hit that big three against Portland that basically sealed the game. So they're not scared to take threes. They prefer not to take threes, but they still a threat because what they can do off the dribble and with their passing. And I think that's one thing DeMarcus Cousins has shown since he left Sacramento, that he can play off the ball and he can also move the ball. He's not like this ball hogging center that's going to eat up every possession and slow it down and just throw up some bull just because he's the best player or one of the best players on the team. I feel like he really been showing that he's really committed to winning and trying to buy into a team concept, because I feel like in Sacramento it was just him taking as many shots as he wanted, doing whatever he wanted, because they needed him to be happy. They needed him to be active, for him to make an imprint on the game, and for him to be able to make the All-Star and All-NBA teams. I feel like this is going to show, is he really going to be a championship caliber player, because he did take less and he did take a lesser role on Golden State, but having that Achilles injury, not looking the same, and also getting injured in the playoffs, coming off an injury, I think has been terrible for his brand, because he hasn't really played that much elite basketball, and he hasn't really shown me the old DeMarcus Cousins enough to make me wonder, can he get back to that level? He hasn't shown me. He had some games that were special, but they came few and far between. So he hasn't shown that he's anywhere close. I wouldn't even call DeMarcus Cousins an all-star. Only reason why I can see you giving him a contract is, one, you trying to fill the void, or you feel like he can give you another dimension, kind of like what the Warriors did, or two, he's on too cheap of a deal that you have to take the gamble. And we see that with Dwight Howard We see that with DeAndre Jordan, that these players are good enough starting caliber players that you're willing to pay them the mid level exception at worst, just because you know that they can still bring something positive to a team offensively, defensively, whatever is the reason they have a skill set, and you know what they bring to the table, and you know that they can play, and you know they're gonna do their role. And I feel like him playing in the Pelicans and him playing with the Golden State Warriors, I think that really showed you that Demarcus Cousins is a great rebounder, no matter how explosive he is. He knows how to box out. He knows how to take up a lot of space because he is big, and he knows how to grab rebounds. We see that he can do more things than just score. He's not just a guy that got to score. He can rebound. He can knock down shots. He can still post up, even though he's not the explosive guy. He still takes up space. He still can get people in foul trouble, and he can still pick you apart with his passing ability. Even though he can be a little nonchalant, a little sloppy with the ball, those things don't really age because you're going to always have those, because those are fundamentals and those are skills. They ingrained and built in you, and I feel like that's something special about him, and that's what's going to keep him in the league, because you haven't really seen the attitude problems as much this year. You haven't seen all the chaos that he brings. We don't really hear much about DeMarcus Cousins beside of the injuries. That's how well he has been behaved, and that's for the better. You know, you're in a situation where this could be a make or break season for your career, even though it didn't happen the way he wanted it to happen, and he still does have a legitimate chance of winning the championship because they haven't been eliminated yet, as they're only down 0-1, and they have a chance to tie it up Sunday in a couple of hours. But I really want to see how much people really value DeMarcus Cousins. Now that you see that he's not the same explosive player, he may not be a dominant player, but if you give him the touches and you give him the opportunity, he might not be efficient. But then again, DeMarcus Cousins was never a super hyper efficient guy, even when he was fully healthy. He always had nagging injuries, and he always was in and out of the lineup, and he did have a mental chaos problem that he has seemed to solve a little bit more in Golden State. But I think he's still going to be a valuable asset, even though a lot of teams don't need centers, and you know he ain't the same player that he was 2 years ago. But I still feel like he has a place as a starter, depending on the team and depending on the personnel. You can get a lot out of DeMarcus Cousins, and he can make you a lot tougher to guard, and he can make you a lot more physical and a lot more tougher just by adding him. And like I said, it might not even cost you that much money. It's not like you're going to give him 20 to 25 mil like DeAndre Jordan got from Dallas. But guess what? He didn't even play the whole season off of Dallas. So I think DeMarcus Cousins' ability to be a modern day center, passing ability, rebounding ability, shooting ability, and his ability to knock down free throws, that he's going to have a space and a chance to make a roster. It's just all about fit. It's just all about what you're trying to get him to do, what you're trying to get out of him, and who you're putting around him to really maximize him for what he is right now. And this might sound crazy, but 2 years ago, people was debating that you have to give DeMarcus Cousins the max. A year later, he's not even worth the max because of the injury. He doesn't even get the max from anybody. And now he's in a situation where he's coming off two injuries, Achilles and a quad, and he hasn't played well in the playoffs so far, even though he haven't played really at all, which is terrible. He still has an opportunity to resurrect his career if he can get a 2 to 3 year deal with a team option. If he plays well, they keep him. If not, they can move on from him, even if it's a 2 year. 1 year he gets commitment. Next year is a team option, or you can just do player option in year two, depending on how much the contract is. I do still think that he is a $10 or $15 million player, because you have to look at it from here. He's going to get some playing time right now in the playoffs. He's going to have months to really get his body right because he's not going to really do anything um, this summer because of the injuries and because he's still going to be a free agent. So he has a lot of time to work on his body. He has a lot of time to work on his skills and get healthier, because once they're done in this June, he's still going to have July, August, September, even a little bit of October to get right back in shape, get some shots up, get some familiarity with the teammates he's going to be with, get what he's going to have to bring to the team from the coach and what they want, their game plan, and how they're going to utilize him. And I think he will come back more prepared. If you look at his numbers for the regular season, he played better as the season got older. You know, in March, he gave you 16 points and 52% from the field. In February, he gave you 16 points and 43 from the field. And even in January, he gave you 13 points. And this is on a Golden State team that's stacked with talent. This is on a Golden State team that he's not going to get the same shot attempts that he usually get. And he still was able to give you 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. And he only played 25 minutes a game for the Golden State Warriors. Not only that, he only averaged 12 shots a game. That's a lot for a Golden State team that we didn't really see him getting. We thought he'd get a little less than that, but for 12 shots, you give me 48 from the field. You give me 73 from the free throw line, even though he didn't shoot well from three. But like I said, that's his explosiveness and his lift that he doesn't have right now that he can work on in the regular season. You still give me 16 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, 1 steal, and 48% from the field. And you showed that you was a little bit dependent on your explosiveness and your lift of getting rebounds and getting putbacks and being able to, use your skills to get the separation, to get the layups and the dunks in. He still needs to work on that and get his balance back and get his shot selection a little bit better and not settle as much as he did this season. But other than that, he still show you that he's a capable starter. He still can be a guy that can punish switches because he can score on smaller guys, like we seen in Toronto, like we seen against the Clippers. And he showed that he can still hook shot. He can still hit some spot up jump shots. He can still face up and hit mid range jumpers and still get to the free throw line. And he showed the capability of being a great rebounder and a great passer, given the minutes and opportunities. He probably can still give you 16 to 18 and 10 if he gets the minutes and gets the chances and get the familiarity, chemistry, and get a good coach that can get the best out of him and put him in opportunities where he can succeed. We can see Demarcus Cousins be a guy that can resurrect his career before it falls completely apart and become a borderline all-star again. He's not that far from there, not just because of the numbers in Golden State, but just because I watched the majority of his games. And like I said, he got the off season to work on his body, get more healthier, and get the feel for the game back because he came halfway into a team he never played with. So that is a big change and that is a big adjustment. But at the same time, he did pretty well and handled it pretty well. Even though the quad injury might hurt him when it comes to pay, he still showed you that he's a quality starter. And I think that he should have the opportunity to prove that because I still think a guy with this age, this talent, this abilities, and uniqueness, you definitely got to give him a chance, especially if it's only going to cost you 10 and under to get him. You see, Dwight Howard got that from the Wizards, and he didn't even play a game, and he opted back in. Just imagine, DeMarcus Cousins is more modern than Dwight Howard. He's not a defender, but he's around the same as everything else and a little bit more updated. If he can get $5 million, or Jordan can get $25 million, DeMarcus Cousins should be able to get $5 to $10 million easily, especially for a team that can really fill that hole or they need somebody that can give them offense. Even if he's a six-man like Enes Kanter, he can still make a big impact. Remember, Kanter can still give you double-digit points and 8+ rebounds in 25 to 30 minutes. He showed that in Portland. He showed that in OKC. And he even showed that in New York. So worst case scenario, you get a guy that is not great defensively that can score, punish switches, and rebound. To me, that's still a valuable commodity. Remember, Enes Kanter has been getting paid some good money these last couple of years to be that. Even though I feel like DeMarcus Cousins is still better because he's a better passer and a better team player right now. Also, let me know what you guys think. How you feel about DeMarcus Cousins? Is he done? Can he get back to where he used to be? Is he a fraction of himself permanently? Do you think he's worth $10 million? Do you think he can make $15 million, or do you think he is signed for another mid-level exception? Do you think you'll give him a 2-year deal or a 2-year deal in the player or well, mostly a team option like Paul Millsap got? Or do you think that he should just be a 1-year guy? Let me try him this 1 year, and if we bring him back, we bring him back. If he don't, he's a free agent. We get out of the contract, and it's a win-win for the team. And DeMarcus Cousins, he gets to try somewhere else. They get to get their cap space back and move in a different direction. Or do you think that he's just too good of a talent, still got some potential to get a little bit better in free agency period, and in the summer that he can come back and still be a starter quality, borderline all-star caliber player? Let me know what you guys think about DeMarcus Cousins. Is he done? Can he still play? Is he a bench player? Or is he still a solid starter that can play on a good team or even a great team and give them some abilities that they may not have from their power forward or center? Check out my website, analysisplayground.com, link in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com, link in the description, comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. Thanks for everybody that likes on Facebook. Thanks for everybody that subscribes. Thanks for everybody that continues to buy merchandise. And thanks for everybody to check out my old videos. If you like this video, check out my older videos. I got playlists on my channel. Thanks for everybody that supports. Thanks for everybody that likes. Also, if you're new to the channel, I do predictions, I do talks, I cover free agency buyouts, I also cover the trade deadline, I also cover NBA draft, summer league, I also cover everything every day. I try not to miss a day. So you love the NBA and you love content about everybody and every part of the game, I'm the channel for you. So subscribe, become part of the family. I love making these videos. You guys enjoy watching. That's why I continue to go. And let me know what you guys think what the future holds for Demarcus Cousins.